Rachel Zegler's entry into Hollywood was meteoric. Handpicked by Steven Spielberg to star as Maria in West Side Story, she was soon cast as Snow White in Disney's live-action remake. Her talent and early acclaim positioned her as Hollywood's next major star, seemingly fast-tracked to fame. With major studios backing her and award recognition coming quickly, she had what most aspiring actors only dream of. However, her rapid ascent may have also set unrealistic expectations and pressures. What began as a fairy tale rise quickly started to show cracks as public perception and professional reputation began to shift dramatically. Disney's Snow White reboot sparked major backlash due to its overtly political tone. Critics and audiences felt the film was reimagined with a heavy-handed progressive agenda, stripping away the traditional charm of the original. The removal of the dwarfs, replaced by magical beings, and Zegler's dismissive comments about romance and fairy tales were seen as disrespectful to the source material.
I know that you've told me before that your version of Snow White is different, and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What did you mean by that?
I mean, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
What was intended as a modern update came across as tone-deaf to fans who cherished the original. Instead of resonating with viewers, the changes alienated them, making the film a lightning rod for debates about cultural revisionism in Hollywood. One of the most controversial decisions in the Snow White remake was eliminating the 7 dwarfs, a move meant to avoid stereotypes. However, critics argued it erased a form of representation for actors with dwarfism. Disney's choice to include only one token dwarf among other fantasy creatures was perceived as a regressive attempt to be progressive. Disability advocates and fans alike criticized the studio for not consulting affected communities and accused it of performative wokeness. What was framed as a step forward in inclusion was widely seen as dismissive and offensive, further intensifying the film's already heated reception. On the set of West Side Story, Rachel Zegler reportedly clashed with director Steven Spielberg. While the film was a high-profile opportunity, insiders claim Zegler challenged Spielberg's vision, insisting on a modern reinterpretation of her character. Her approach allegedly disrupted the production's harmony, leading to a tense atmosphere on set. Spielberg, known for his calm demeanor, was said to be frustrated, with some crew describing the work environment as exhausting. While Spielberg praised the cast publicly, private accounts suggest Zegler's attitude strained the relationship and marked an early warning sign about her professional conduct in major productions. Rumors suggest Steven Spielberg was deeply disappointed with Zegler during West Side Story. Despite championing her casting, her unwillingness to follow his direction reportedly made filming difficult. Sources say Spielberg privately vowed not to work with her again due to her resistance and perceived arrogance. While he maintained professionalism in public appearances, the behind-the-scenes tension painted a different picture. The fallout with such a legendary director marked a major blow to her reputation early in her career and may have influenced how other studios and industry professionals approached her afterward, seeing her as potentially high-risk or uncooperative talent. Zegler's interviews ahead of Snow White's release caused widespread backlash. She openly mocked the original film, calling it outdated and creepy, and dismissed the importance of romance and fairy tales.
Said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. And so it's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves in.
Her tone came across as arrogant and out of touch, alienating fans of the 1937 classic. Instead of generating excitement, her comments became viral moments of ridicule on platforms like TikTok and YouTube. Zegler's lack of media training or refusal to soften her stance turned press tours into PR disasters. These missteps significantly damaged public perception and contributed to the film's failure, showing how media presence can make or break a star. The live-action Snow White suffered a disastrous release, earning far below its massive budget, which reportedly ranged from $240 to $270 million. With global earnings under $200 million, the film became one of Disney's biggest flops.
And far below projections. Internationally, a similar story. Overseas, Snow White took in $44.3 million in its opening weekend, bringing the total to just $87.3 million, with a budget of around $209 million. That means Snow White is destined to be one of the biggest bombs in Disney history. It will not recoup.
The failure wasn't just financial, it damaged Disney's live-action brand and stalled other projects. Analysts and insiders pointed to Zegler's controversies and poor audience reception as key reasons for the collapse. Disney blamed shifting market trends, but most saw it as a self-inflicted wound. The fallout from Snow White affected more than just Zegler's career. It sent ripples through the entire studio's future project pipeline. Zegler's casting as Maria was initially praised for representation, but it soon stirred controversy over her heritage. Reports emerged that some studio executives questioned the authenticity of her Latina identity, allegedly asking her to verify her background. The private dispute spilled into public view when Zegler accused the studio of discrimination in interviews, escalating the conflict. This created tension between her and the producers and drew criticism from both cultural advocacy groups and the public. What could have been a celebration of diversity turned into a divisive spectacle that further complicated her relationship with Hollywood and her public image. Behind the scenes of Snow White, political divisions and clashing personalities created a toxic environment. Sources suggest that the cast and crew were divided, especially over Zegler's outspoken views. Reports claimed that disagreements on set became so intense that scenes were reshot or avoided altogether. Disney allegedly had to carefully manage press appearances, separating cast members to avoid further controversy. This level of chaos on a major production highlighted serious leadership and casting missteps. Marketing strategies shifted to damage control mode, but the underlying tension couldn't be hidden. The production's dysfunction only further undermined the film's chances of success. Rachel Zegler entered Hollywood with everything going for her: elite backing, lead roles, and media attention. But poor behavior, controversial statements, and a lack of humility reportedly turned her into a liability. Instead of gratitude, she projected entitlement. The industry, quick to elevate rising stars, is just as quick to drop them. With two high-profile productions mired in controversy and backlash, Zegler's image shifted from rising star to cautionary tale. Her story serves as a reminder that talent isn't enough. Attitude, professionalism, and respect for the audience matter. In Hollywood, the audience always gets the final say, and they've turned away. Can Zegler rebuild her image and career? Only time will tell. But for now, her meteoric rise and stunning fall serve as a warning to every rising star. Hollywood remembers, and so does the audience.